Good Wednesday evening to you, everyone. How are you? It's good to see you, and it's good to be seen by you. I, of course, am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you. Get would you stop not doing that? Thank you. Coming to you live, loud and clear, on a Wednesday evening where we normally. This is where I would almost immediately start talking about the the soon approach of Kyle and other people to join us, but Kyle was feeling under the weather. So, all big props to Kyle. We will hope that he is feeling better by next week. And then we will continue on with our TTRPG exploration of the post apocalypse. But good evening to you, Gonzalo, Joe, Bingo Man Zero, Saint Cuthbert, Bob Schult, Jorge, Robert Phillips, FMCS Recon. Hello, I greet you. And everybody else out there, whether you're watching us over on X, whether you're watching us right here on YouTube, welcome. Give us a shout. Say hello. Greetings to you, Odd Scimitar. Last night we played some first edition AD&D. That was good fun. Tomorrow night, guess what? Paul Stormberg's going to be here. He's going to give us a post Dragon Days wrap up to beat the band, and I'm going to show off the wood grain OD&D sets to him and see if they pass muster. Oh, what's that? You don't know about the wood grain OD&D sets? Come closer. Allow me to explain to you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this year, Chaotic Neutral Realms, your first view. Welcome. Welcome. I am so glad that you are here. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, Chaotic Neutral Realms, hop on over to YouTube and click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications. That goes for all of you out there. I would hope that you would do that. And Paul loves you guys too, St. Cuthbert. So anyway, if you don't know what's going on, first of all, your eyes do not deceive you. This is a wood grain original Dungeons and Dragons set. Rather, it is a reproduction of a wood grain original D&D set. Odd wishes he could enter, but he doesn't get paid until after the deadline. Odd, I'm so sorry, brother. I am so sorry. Well, okay, Odd, I may be able to help you out. I'm gonna walk through this because I'm gonna explain. This holiday season, last holiday season, we had a gift giving. I had 4 items around the dungeon that were just gathering dust. They were brand new in box, but they were excess. They were extra. And I like to give back to you guys since you guys give to me. Orbital Air, the answer to your question, how many wood grain boxes were made originally? I have heard figures between 1,500 and 2,500. Paul can tell us. Oh, thank you, Bob. Bob gifted a membership. But anyway, Erudite DM watching from X. Good to see you, Erudite DM. Thank you for watching us over on the Twitter place. I appreciate that so much. If you haven't subscribed, jump on over to YouTube and subscribe, and then you can continue to watch on X if that's where you want to watch. Yeah, not many of these in the grand scheme of D&D, but last year gave away a Jack's Arcade mini Pac-Man machine. We gave away a Icons of the Realm Red Dragon mini. Do I have the box for that here? Yes, I do. I gave away one of these, new in the box, the actual Red Dragon herself. We gave away the D&D cookbook, and I gave away a Mobile Suit Gundam model. It's a Gundam! Yes, I gave away that. But anyway, so I gave those items away. And this year I was wondering what to do, that sort of thing. I'm not going to launch into the whole backstory about how this came about, but thanks to Matthew Tapp, he'll be our guest next Thursday, by the way. Thanks to Matthew Tapp, who puts his Barrows and Borderland games in these lovely wood grain box sets. I am able to create these facsimiles of original Dungeons and Dragons. Also, there's a copy of Chainmail included. So you get 2 classic TSR games here in these sets. But this is what we're going to be doing a drawing for on Christmas night 2025. We have 4 of these sets. We're going to give away 4 of these. So you will you will have a chance to win one of these reproduction original D&D set along with Chainmail. Now, how does this work? Clockwork Smith & Jones sticks. Good to see you. Alias Smith & Jones. If you know that old chestnut from British TV, good sketch comedy stuff. The German General's skit is hands down one of the best. Anyway, so here's how you become eligible to win. And this may help you out a little bit. This may help you out a little bit, Odd Scimitar. Okay. That is correct, Orbital Air. And I have a real OCE set here. And I'll talk about how that came about in just a minute. So the way you can be entered, yes, I do have a D&D waffle maker. The way that you can be entered is join us as a paid patron for as little as $1 a month. Join over there before October 31st, or become a channel member here on YouTube. The lowest that I can set that price is $2.99. That's a YouTube thing, not a me thing. So if you're thrifty, go over to Patreon. And this, hopefully, I can help. Odd Scimitar, listen carefully. Listen carefully. Patreon does not pay out until the 5th or the 1st of each month at the earliest. If I want to manually cash out on Patreon, it auto cashes out on the 5th, but I can go as early as the 1st. Your account is not hit until that time. So if you wanted to join, say now, if you're like, I'm not going to be paid until November 3rd, 4th, whatever, you can still sign up. You can still sign up. As long as you know that you're going to be paid no later than the 5th, well, I would say the 4th, just to be sure, of November. As long as you sign up before, or rather no later than October 31st, you will be entered. And then on Christmas night, we'll spin the wheel 4 times. 4 times. We'll spin the wheel, and 4 people, 4 of you guys, will win a reproduction wood grain original Dungeons and Dragons set. They will be marked inside the box. I will sign. If you win and you want me to sign the box, the books, whatever, you let me know and I'll do that. Luther Pendragon, roll tide. I'm not sure about getting past Mizzou, brother. But if we can make it past Mizzou, if we can make it past Tennessee, I think we can do the end to the end of the year. I think we can win out. I think we can fulfill Josh Pate's destiny. But anyway, that's how you enter to win. And now let me tell you, you have to stay a member or Patreon all the way to the end of December. So if you're thrifty, at worst, that's going to be $2. That's going to be $2. Absolutely, Gonzalo. Absolutely. So there you go, guys. There you go. That is how you can win one of these reproduction wood grain original D&D sets and a copy of Chainmail. I'm excited to give these to you guys. I hope you're excited to have a chance to win. Now, one thing I do want to mention, I will not do these as a gift again, but two of them are going to auction. Not two of them that I would have given away, and therefore I'm only giving away two. No, I'm making another two for auction. One is going to auction at Page, the Philadelphia Area Gamers Expo, and one is going to EggCon, the E. Gary Gygax Con, which is held, I think it's the weekend of July 19th, 2026. So there will be two. If you're out there, you're going to these small but incredibly awesome cons. You may be like, damn, I didn't win. Hey, I can jump in there and I can try to win that at an auction. I'm interested to see how much they end up going for, because when I start printing them and selling them myself, I'll have a good idea of what to charge. I'm kidding. I'm just keen to see how eager people are to actually buy a reproduction wood grain OD&D set. Anyway, so I want to answer a question. We're going to stay zoomed in here a little bit because this came up. This is, and I have a wood grain swords and wizardry. This is an OCE, original collector's edition. You'll note the cover art is different. They moved from we copied this out of a Doctor Strange comic to some more original art here. And I think that's Dave Sutherland. I could be wrong. But anyway, so here's the deal with the white box. First of all, they moved probably to a less expensive box. Now, initially, when they did move to the white box, they did not have this, and it doesn't show up very well. Not at all, Gonzalo. Not at all, Gonzalo. But anyway, you guys can just kind of see it on the camera here. The starburst that says OCE. They originally did not have these. They just shifted. But they started packing them in these boxes. Now, come 1977, which is only 3 years after the release of original D&D, here comes first edition AD&D. But original D&D for all that time sold like hotcakes. Original D&D was just huge. They made 2,500 of these because they thought that's all they would ever need. Gonzalo, I'm gonna tag that and I'm gonna come back to it. I will get back to you in just a second. So it was still hugely popular. And the supplements, Blackmore, Greyhawk, Gods, Demigods, and Heroes, Eldritch Wizardry, and of course, if you consider it a supplement, Swords and Spells, the war game. So when they saw how popular it was, they kicked printing of original D&D into high gear. I feel like the old seer in Indiana Jones. And take back one kadam to honor the Wisconsin genius whose game this is. But anyhow, so they kept this pretty much in print until AD&D was in people's hot little hands. And of course, AD&D was a runaway success. It was a huge booming success, but they had a warehouse of original D&D. So even though they stopped wholesaling this and the supplements, you could still buy this as a direct sale from the Dungeon Hobby Shop, which is why as late as 1981, 1982, if you got I'm pointing to it, you guys can't see it, but if you got even a Tom Moldvay edit of Dungeons and Dragons, it came with a Your Gateway to Adventure catalog where you could buy D&D merch, you could buy other games, you could buy rule books, stuff like that. And in there, they still sold this. Now, once they'd fully moved into basic D&D and AD&D as their main D&D product lines, there were still a few diehards out there, or perhaps the curious who wanted to see the evolution of D&D. So they started having these printed with this little jagged starburst that says Original Collector's Edition, implying that it was for people whose hobby was collecting the RPG and not playing it. And that is where the OCE set moniker originates from. Stephen Radney McFarland, good to see you, brother. You Stephen, you gonna try and get in on some OD&D wood grain set action? But anyway, Clockwork Smith and Jones says, first picked up the Holmes box back in the day, totally changed my world later, returned to the little hobby shop in our town, and they had white boxes still on the shelves. It was D&D, so got it. Excellent, man. Excellent. In 1886, that was Stephen was playing original D&D. All right, so let's ask or let's answer this question asked by Gonzalo, who says to us, did the chanting attract more wandering damage than trying to be stealthy? I make wandering monster checks on the turn in a dungeon, unless the module calls for fewer or more checks per turn. I roll that d6. I will always roll for an encounter immediately after combat. You've made a hell of a lot of noise. As to the question of stealth, if and only if the party is using something like like silence 15-foot radius on the party and invisibility 10-foot radius, so you're moving unseen and unheard, which has its own hazards, has its own dangers. There is no stealth. You have a light source. You have people in armor. You have weapons. You have backpacks. You have hard boots. That's why, like, a thief can't be with the party and say, I'm going to move silently. The thief can move silently by themselves. The thief can try to hide in shadows by themselves. But there is no increase or decrease in the chance of a random encounter based on how much noise a party's making. A party's always making noise. You guys are always talking to each other. There are no, throat mics, lavalier mics, and radio systems. Okay. The magic user in the back of the party needs to talk to the fighter in the front of the party. The fighter in the front of the party is 10 or 15 feet away. He's got to talk at least a conversational voice to be heard. Do I pre-stock dungeons, or if I'm using a module, do I pull from existing monsters or add more? Generally speaking, I think the monster layout in a module comes from the design and play test of the creator. So I will typically just play a module as is. And of course, I tweak it a little bit, But by and large, there's 3 ghouls at the bottom of the well. There's 3 ghouls at the bottom of the well. That's just how it goes. My own stuff. And as far as restocking, I know you said pre-stocking, but I want to talk about restocking. As far as restocking the dungeon, there are some that do. It's like constant reinforcements. And even if the module says they won't receive reinforcements, I've had parties that will leave a dungeon, they'll quit it for a month. Something's going to come back. Something is going to come back. Whether it's an ogre who now has heard rumors that the orc tribe is weaker by 30 or 40, or whether that orc chieftain has gotten word out. Children of Grumsh, defend our lair. And they'll come running. Now, if a party's keeping the pressure on, they're hitting and running like every other day, something like that, they're not going to give the monsters a chance. Now, as far as stocking my own dungeons, I just put in what I think is appropriate. Random encounters, like the party was running into last night, the Minotaur, the giant spiders, I was using the Wandering Monster tables right out of the Dungeon Master's Guide. So that's how I did that. Yeah, A2 did not. Sometimes that's just the dice. I'll sit back here and roll dice. And I mean, it's like, okay, you rest. You get ready to rest. First turn, the door rattles. In burst a bunch of monsters. But the thing about wandering monsters and the thing about encountering wandering monsters is there's times, like if the party goes to ground in an untrafficked area of the dungeon, I tend to think of that less of, hey, a monster is going to wander through. No, random monsters. There are some random monsters that pull from numbers in modules, and you will see, like, there's 3 whites in here. Unless one was encountered randomly, then there will only be 2. Or if the alarm is raised, the monsters will join this, and this room will be unoccupied. Did I say round, Gonzalo? I meant a turn. I did mean a turn. Oh, excuse me, guys. I'm still pretty tired. But yes, I am checking a turn every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes. Now, there are logical times. There are times when I'm just like, no, I'm not going to check for wandering monsters. It doesn't make any sense. It just, or there'll be a wandering monster. I'm like, well, where did it come from? You know, why, how could it be there? That doesn't even make any sense. St. Cuthbert asks, have I ever run a dungeon that had a word or a phrase written on something and you hand it to the players on paper to see, and one reads it out loud? It's the name of a demon who is summoned. That is a very clever and cruel thing to do. I've never done it though. How is Swords and Wizardry at 1E AD&D different? Swords and Wizardry is an OD&D clone. It hews to original D&D. It has 3 alignments. It's a much more loosey-goosey system. AD&D, the go-to clone for that is, of course, Osric. So, just so you know. Bear with me just a second, boys and girls. Anyway, so yeah, if you want an AD&D clone, and I know that there are people out there who want to play AD&D, they don't have the money for expensive AF AD&D books on eBay, because let's face it, people are charging hundreds and hundreds of dollars for bog standard copies of the Dungeon Master's Guide, Monster Manual, Player's Handbook. Forget any of the outlier books like, you know, Unearthed Arcana, something like that. Great old ones. Good to see you. What's the upcoming? I don't know. I don't know, Joe. We'll have to have somebody on. That I literally don't know. So, the default thing you can do if you don't want to give Wizards your money, because you do give the money if you buy off of Drive Through RPG. It doesn't all go through Drive Through. In fact, most of it goes to Wizards. But you know, you're dead set against supporting Wizards. You don't really have the extortionate price to pay for books off of eBay. Then get Osric. But Osric has its shortcomings. Osric is not a perfect one-to-one of first edition AD&D. There's no monk. There's no psionics. So, yeah, can we get 1E AD&D? We have 1E AD&D at home. 1E AD&D at home. You thought I had it? No, yeah, no. We've had Matt Finch on here many times. I'd love to have Stuart Marshall on, but I haven't talked to Stu in years. But yeah, I'm not sure what they've changed. We'd have to get Matt on. I'm going to tell you guys, October is busy and it is booked all the way up. We have Paul this week. We have Matthew Tapp next. We've got Risa T, and the Erebus Mythos guys are here the week after that, which is going to precipitate a Saturday night live stream playtest demo of Erebus Mythos run by yours truly. I'm excited about that. And then we've got Aggie. I'm pulling in all the great TTRPG developers. I don't know how this happened. Aggie's going to be here with a seriously cool old school project he's working on. It's not computer software this time. Hello, Kabuki. Good to see you. So, yes, I am. I am looking forward. I'm trying to get Rob in very early in November. That's going to be like the soonest we can do. But yeah, I will get Rob Kuntz here on the channel for you guys. So I'm just making sure I didn't miss any questions. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up. I am, I posted this on Twitter the other day. I'm stressed out and stretched thin. I've got so much stuff going on right now, guys. Not all of it's good, but all the stuff I'm trying to do for you guys is just keeping me moving forward and keeping me focusing on the positive. The D&D sets, I have some lovely handmade dice coming for the Dice Advent calendar, which I'm, going to go through and do openings of. Luke Gygax probably won't come on the show. We are going to have guests on Christmas night, though. We are going to have guests on Christmas night. But by the time I get to the end of November, I'm going to be spent. So we are not going to be live streaming in December, except for the Dice Advent calendar, and then the live stream on the 25th with me and Mrs. Dungeon Delver. Is Santa coming? Sort of. We'll be opening a little gifties, and some people will get little gifties, which is not really Santa, unfortunately. Santa would bring you all wood grain OD&D boxes, and I'll be honest, I wish I could. I wish I had infinite printer ink and sticker paper and wood grain boxes and grain textured stiff cardboard paper. Steven, sure. I mean, that's up to you, man. That's absolutely up to you. November, other than Rob, I don't think or know if I've got any guests slated for November. Yeah, dude, drop me an email, drop me a DM on Facebook, and we'll talk about it. I didn't know there was a Melf Greyhawk book coming out. That'll teach me to not pay attention. Somebody asked, speaking of books coming out, somebody asked way up the chat. Excuse me. Turn your head, please. Somebody asked me way up the chat, how many viewers would I have to have on April 1st to run 5e something Borderlands box set board game bullshit that they've come out with. Stephen, that is too cool. Well, Stephen Randy McFarlane's going to be on the show talking about the Greyhawk adventure that he's writing right now in November. So Stephen will be here. Thanks for stepping up. I would need 9,999 subscribers to do that, but not 10,000. and not 9,999 exactly, or 9,998. Exactly 9,999. And if we go over, I stop the review. I actually want the Stranger Things basic D&D set, but I've never gotten it. I don't even know if it's in print anymore. It's probably $100,000 on eBay. Yes, 999 nomads, 999 nomads, 999 nomads, and 999 nomads. I cast Earth Dagger, and most of them just go away. God, I loved having the high level spells in Bard's Tale. Earth Dagger, whomp. Oh, that's neat, Steven. I'm kind of out of the loop. I'll have to check it out. I mean, it makes sense that they're releasing it right now in sync with the last episode ever of last season ever of Stranger Things. I'm excited about that. If anything, Paranoia Tune or Teenagers from Outer Space. Yeah, no, Bob. Stephen was talking about a new one that's coming out. Anyway, yeah, no, I would love it if I could give every one of you guys a wood grain set. Again, if I had infinite boxes, infinite stickers, infinite grain textured card stock for the covers, I would end printer ink and toner and 24-pound cotton bound laser printer paper. I would absolutely give everybody one, but I can't. So, you know what? While I'm waiting for questions, because I'm gonna do a standalone video on this. If you guys are like, I voted for standalone over on X. I want to give you guys an overview of how I do the boxes, and I can show you guys some of what I've got made. Damien247, good to see you. I want to show you guys the not the whole construction process, but just a little bit of what goes into it. So I may be getting up and moving. Is that okay? Do you guys want to see that? Like, see how the OD&D sets are put together? I shouldn't really say made, because I'm printing stuff. Do I have any advice on encouraging a 5e player who only likes to play anthropomorphic races like Eric Cochra to play AD&D? He's super stubborn. Odd wants to see it. Clockwork wants to see it. Kabuki wants to see it. Yang Yan Zhao just got away. By the way, did I mention to you guys before I launch into the how? Did I mention to you guys that Yang Yan Zhao is the sponsor of tonight's episode? That's right, guys. Because there is an awesome Kickstarter out there. Yes, there is. It is the Empire of the Undying Sun that Yang Yan Zhao and I shouldn't say and I. Why do I say that, Yang? Please forgive me. Oh my gosh. It is looking really awesome. Oh, Yang kicking me the I got the URL. I got the URL, brother. But anyway, let me share this with you guys. You know what? We'll talk about the Empire of the Undying Sun, and then I'll come back to the box set assembly. So one of the sponsors of tonight's show is Yang Yan Zhao, and he has got this Kickstarter going for this absolutely amazing book, Empire of the Undying Sun. It is a campaign setting chock full of mystery and horror. And guys, it is not just for 5e, it's for 1e. And yours truly has been gifted with the honor of writing the first edition AD&D parts of Empire of the Undying Sun. I'm doing all the conversion work. I'm getting in there with the impact hammer, with the spanners, with the clutch flywheel pullers and everything like that. I did write 3 of them. Okay, I did write 3 of the modules. Jorge, yes, I would. I would absolutely consider doing that. So your answer is yes. But anyway, so Empire of the Undying Sun, it has a very dark tone to it. It deals with a world where, you don't just bump into orcs because you hopped in a wagon and went down the wrong road. This is a place of dark fairy tales and dark myths. And I've written 3 modules for this, and I'm so excited to see this come out because the artwork is going to be sumptuous. It's going to have 3 adventures out for it written by yours truly. And again, it is first edition AD&D stuff you can get here, guys. I don't mean, I mean, we got to be careful what we put in print, right? But I don't mean that this is, well, it's kind of edgy. It's got that edge. It's got the old school grit. No, not grit, not feel, not guts. First edition AD&D right in there. If you want first edition, if you want 5e, or if you want 5e and 1e, back this project, guys. Back this project. I mean, it's $155 away from being 2/3 of the way funded. There's 22 days to go. There's no reason not to get in on this Kickstarter, guys. It's amazing. Yang has honored me by letting me in on this. Hey, Jeremy's become a member. Jeremy, thank you very much. I know Jeremy from yoinks ago. I've known Jeremy in an internet sense for 22 years, brother. 22 years. Think about that as you dial up your calendar maker and note that you need to call your doctor for a checkup. No, because we met on PoE, dude. We met on PoE when my eldest was just a baby. So yeah, it's been that long. It's been a quarter of a century, man. Everyone needs both a 1E and a 5E because you can be awesome. So I want to circle back around. Somebody asked, I read Old Memory, but I didn't interact with anybody on Old Memory. You and I ran into each other on PoE and PoEN. Anyway, so to get back to the topic of anthropomorphic races, you have 2 options. You can put your foot down and just dig your heel. Well, you got 3 options. Put your foot down, dig your heels in. Look, Toon is that way. Ninja High School is that way. GURPS Fuzzy is that way. TMNT and Other Strangeness is that way. All right. This is AD&D. Joe would like both versions. What's the price point in that, Yang? You tell him. You're out there, brother. Two, your second option is you say, all right, look, you want to play a fox person? Just say, you're a fox person. Congratulations. You're an elf that's an anthropomorphic fox. That's it. Or you're just an anthropomorphic fox. You get no advantages other than you're a freaking furry. That's option 2. Option 3 is you just let them, you're just like, okay, I'll figure out what the stats are for it are, and I'll let you play and a rockera and go for there. So those are your 3 choices. Personally, if the person is that important to you, I'd say go option 2 and just say, oh, okay, so let's see, you're a badger. You want to be a badger? Okay. Dwarf stats. There you go. You know, it is a humanocentric game. So just keep that in mind. Now I got to scroll up and look for other questions. Jeremy, I thank you so much for joining. I think if you win this is going to be a very cool conversation piece. Or a piece to game with. Let's see. Do I consider? Yeah, okay. So do that. Okay, what did this cost me? Well, let's talk about what this cost me personally and what it might set you back. The laser printer and the color inkjet printer that I am using to print these out were both free. They were both donations. I did have to buy toner, but I do have them. The paper, the boxes were donated by Matthew Tapp. The paper, the color toner, and the black and white toner were the most expensive things. So let me show. I'm sorry, Odd. I really am. There's stuff on the creator side I can't control. I am sorry. I truly am. Let me show you guys. I'm gonna do a video about this. This is kind of awkward. I'm gonna do like an actual produced video where I go into more detail and I'll share like screenshots of the my DTP stuff as I do it. But let me grab some things and you guys can see what I've got. Well, you know that's important. That. Okay. Yes, I did. I saw that, Michael. I think that's nice. Bob, I like that. That's funny. Okay. So one of the things that's going to be essential if you're going to try and do something like this is a paper cutter. You know what? I can pull my email up and I can tell you what all this stuff is. Before I do this, by the way, I will not get to see Rush, and that's fine. I've seen them twice. I saw them on Presto and Roll the Bones. So I have seen Rush in concert 2 times at near their peak, probably just on the other side of their peak, but phenomenal shows, guys. I can't speak for their new drummer. I really can't. For Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee to look at this woman and say, you can play YYZ, you can play Rush music. That is an endorsement beyond any opinion I could have. So anyway, so let me go over here. Yeah, I think the most expensive Rush ticket I paid for was probably $35. And now it would probably be in excess of $1,000 to get into a Rush show. If they were playing near me, they're not. I think the closest they're going to play here is New York, to give you an idea of how that is. Okay, so let's open that up. And don't really need to see that. Let's open that up. Because I'm just going to show you guys I will tell you the hardware that I'm using, the printer hardware, but it's old. You'll want newer stuff, and you'll want a better laser printer than the one I've got. Let's see. And there's that. And that. All right, so let me close that. Rush 1E, yeah. I will. I only saw Pink Floyd second edition though. All right, so let me show you guys the gear here. All right. So this is the paper cutter. And what this is for is the stickers that go on the cover of the boxes. You want to print those 2 at a time to maximize your coverage. These are 5.5 inches wide. So you'll print 2 to a page. This paper cutter is inexpensive. It's $10.99 here in the US. I'm not sure how much that is where you are. Next up, this is the key right here. And you guys probably can't really see this, but this is grain texture paper binding, 90 pounds. Now, they do make it in a lot of colors. They do not make the texture color. Actually, the texture does kind of show up on the multi. So if I can do that, yeah, you guys can see the contrast there. But they don't make it in the brown color, unfortunately. And it was 250 sheets. Or well, wait. How big is that pack? 100. So that was $20. These are the internal pages. White wove, 24 pounds. I got the cheapest. That is, I mean, the most affordable. The most affordable 24-pound cotton white wove that I could get. And it was $24. And last but not least, 50 sheets of matte vinyl sticker. Now, the original box sets, this was just typing paper that was printed on. The cover and side stickers were printed on. And then they glued them on with paste. I went with the vinyl stickers. Just, it's less frustrating and it's going to last longer and there's less of a chance of it puckering. Bob says some textured papers don't hold print very well. You know what, Bob? Let me show you something. What is that? Oh, that is showing that. All right, so those are my printing materials, and you guys can see the price. Hang on a second. Is it true you need color ink to print in black and white now? No. No, it's not. I can order my HP printer, my HP Stinkjet printer, to print black and white, and it will just draw from the black and white cartridge, which is why the black and white cartridge in my inkjet printer is complaining that it's dying. All right. So here is the textured paper. You tell me, Bob. I think it holds it pretty well. I have creased these and folded these. I have creased and folded those, but I have not had any ink smear on my fingers. There's one other thing I do want to pull up here. Let me see. That is not shown, but it's hopefully I can find this. This is not the model that I have, but if you're going to make booklets like this and bind them, saddle stitch them, you're going to need just a long reach stapler. Preferably one that's got a lockable adjusting stop, and this one does. And that's $10, $11. Now, the printers that I'm using, I have an HP PhotoSmart 7760 that is not Windows 10 compatible. So I had to fool it into being Windows 10 compatible. It is this printer right here. Let me see. Sometimes they still sell new old stock on Amazon. They do not have that. It is literally one of those printers that is probably worth less than its cartridges. And I know that for sure because when I went to buy replacement cartridges for it, because it had sat idle for years, and the cartridges that were in it had dried, at first I went to Amazon and I looked up the actual HP cartridges, and they wanted $99 for the black and $69.99 for the CYMK cartridges. Instead, I paid $16 and each and bought 3 boxes of replacement remanufactured carts. But again, I don't recommend getting the printer I have. Get a better inkjet printer than this one. Let's see. Just so you guys will see what it is. Yeah, I mean, here it is on eBay. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, if it's good enough for Bill, it should be good enough for me. There's one on eBay for $57. Watch the HP page. Yeah, it is very discontinued. That is what I'm doing color with. So not a great printer. And my laser printer that I'm doing the book interiors with, because they just need to be in black and white, the laser printer is this one here. I think this one may still actually be kicking around. Here, this is on Walmart's website. This is what I am doing the interior books with: a Brother wireless DCP L264DW compact monochrome multifunction laser printer with print, copy, scan, duplex. It has the duplex module. I would probably not be nearly as happy if I didn't have the duplex module. So that's the stuff I had, or I have. Or go to a printing place. That gets pricey fast, because then I'm not only using their printing services, I'm using their sticker paper, their 90-pound cardstock, and their 25-pound cotton white wove. That's excellent, Odd. Well done. Yeah, the cover paper really worked out well. I wish they had the color, the brown color, but they don't. So, and I have considered staining it. The problem is, inkjet is fundamentally, well, it's a wet material. And let me tell you something. As a miniature painter, allegedly, inkjet printing is like that, in that you can accidentally re-wet things. If I took one of my inkjet printed things and flicked a little water on it, it would cause the ink to run. So my concern was, if I printed and then tried to stain or dye the brown color, it would re-wet the ink and the ink would run and it would be ruined. If it hey Doc, thank you very much. Doc throwing in the pledge there for the Empire of the Undying Sun. Yang has nearly broken $9,000 on this thing. Excellent, Doc. Thank you very much. So, and then I thought, if I dye it, if I dye the paper, because you know what happens when paper gets wet, even if you dry it out, it's crinkly and almost brittle. But I then put it through the printer. Is it going to leave, even after it's dry, is it going to leave residue in the printer? Not that I super care about this printer. I need this printer to do its job for about 25 more books, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. So, is Yang running some games at the guac from the Kickstarter? We would have to ask Yang. Yang, are you going to run some games from the guac at the Kickstarter? But anyway, to continue on, the process is this. Now, I will show you guys a completed cover. Hang on a second. And this is a good one to show. This is a good one to show because we have the cover art, but the inside also has, so the Underworld and Wilderness Adventures Volume 3 has the elementals printed in the back, and in the front, we have a dragon, and then we have this little boilerplate from TSR printed down at the bottom. This means I have to orient this proper. Well, I print this. I have to print it book style on the left. That means when this is a book and you open it up, it opens up like that. So this is the front cover. And this is the side you'd be looking at. Now, when I put it back through, because my little inkjet does not have a built-in duplexer, I had to figure out, how do I put this through? Do I put it through the printer with this side going in first? Or do I turn it like that and put it in so this side goes first? Well, the answer is it always goes in like that. But in the printer settings, when you go in and you do the booklet printing, you say print left or print right. And when I'm doing the rear interior cover, I'm sorry, print left or print right. When I'm doing the rear interior cover, I leave it on its default left. But when I want to print stuff over here, I have to print right. I screwed up so many covers getting that wrong. There has been a lot of wastage. So yeah. And then once I get this printed, there's the book interiors. We'll just grab, again, the Underworld and Wilderness Adventures. This is the book interior. Now, this is only about, because you got to remember, one page here is 4 pages. So you divide the number of pages by 4, and that's how many sheets of paper you need. And see, there's the fight on the back there, and the Hydra up front. Well, to bind this, you stick the cover on the front. You make sure that the inside right front page is going to be behind the cover. And you feed it face up into your large format stapler, which you adjust to the 5.5 inch, because this is an 11-inch page. You come down a couple of inches. And one thing I will tell you, there was no standard at TSR, or the printing company that they used. You will go bonkers trying to figure, oh, but this set it's 2 inches down, and this set it's 1.5 inches, and this set it's 2.5 inches, and yet there was no standard. Just make sure they're the same on the top and the bottom. That's it. You put this in the large format stapler. I use a couple of wood blocks. I lay this in the stapler. I don't hold the stapler. I lay this down on the stapler. I slide it in. I give it a good nudge. And then I give a firm push, click. I turn it around, put it back in. I use a couple of wooden blocks again to tap it and even it up. Click. And there you go. And that's how I make these books. In the overall, if I had to do this on an assembly line, factoring in the amount of time it takes to print, I could probably do 3 to 4 sets an hour. So that's how it go. That's how it do. Now, there's one other step. There's one other step. And I honestly, I'm not sure how important this is. The one thing I don't have is a paper guillotine for evening up the edges. See, when you take a bunch of folded sheets of paper or take a bunch of sheets of paper, crease them down the middle and fold them in half, and you do a whole stack, you wind up with the middle sheets are at a peak. So if you look down the edge of your book on the edge that opens, the paper is basically peaked. I can fix that by taking it to a print shop and begging them to cut the edges even. I don't know if I want to do that. Not because I don't think it is correct to do that. It's a ton. I mean, me walking in with a double armload of these books in crates saying, I need you to cut all these down. I don't know what that's going to cost me. I mean, I guess I can ask them. All right. Ryan, are you okay? Is everything all right with you? Are you feeling okay? Yeah, that's my concern, Gonzalo. The print shop will F them up. Okay, so St. Cuthbert asked me a question here. What are the secrets to complying with the OGO when writing a 1E compatible module? It's very hard to do and write a 1E compatible module. What I would recommend you do is just, okay, I'm not a lawyer. I am not an attorney. Consult one. That's your best step. But if you want to know just off the dome, use Osric. Use Osric. Don't say it's 1E compatible. Say it's Osric compatible. 97% of people who seek out classic AD&D online will know what you mean. So write it for Osric. Don't write it for 1E. But the number 1 and the letter E side by side, hang on one second, guys. The number 1 and the letter E side by side are not some sigil that will kill you if you stamp it on your stuff. If you say 1E compatible, if anybody from Wizards calls you up, you can say, well, I mean, it's one excellent module. So, yeah, it could be the first edition of Osric you're referring to. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. See, I don't know specifically what I would need. I mean, the thought is, well, just get a guillotine cutter and slice them down. But then other people who've gotten these done have said, no, they have a special cutter for doing those books. So I don't know if I went through the trouble of getting a guillotine cutter, if I would then screw them up. So, I mean, I guess it comes down to you guys. Is the pointy edge um is the pointy edge down the side of the books, so I mean you can't riffle through them? If that's a like a deal breaker for people, even the ones who are getting it as a gift, I'll at the very least those and the two that are going to be auctioned, I will have trimmed. Pointy end goes into the other man. How familiar am I with the 1920s culture? Not very. Just what I learned through the Call of Cthulhu rules. So, I mean, now Paul Stormberg has told me when he makes his chainmail reproduction booklets that he takes to gaming events, he just takes them down to Kinko's, and if the right person's working there, they do it for free and they do it right. So Doc says, I have to admit that when I was a poor kid, we checked out Unearthed Arcana and copied the whole hardcover on the Sears copying machine when the managers weren't looking. Later, I had the money and bought it. You got to do what you got to do, brother. I mean, you know, Gary has said they received more feedback and questions from people about original D&D than they had sold original D&D sets. They had people bringing mimeographed or hand retyped copies to them at conventions asking about rules. So yeah, it's a time honored thing, I guess, where people have copied D&D books like that. I know that they started doing the maps in non-repro blue to stop people from photocopying them, because what non-repro means is non-reproduction. You could use one of those fancy photocopying machines, but the fancy photocopying machines, because of the color light they used, would not pick up the blue. So when they figured that out, printing companies that started using photocopy machines in pre-press realized they could print stuff in non-repro blue, run that proof through the photocopier, and that stuff wouldn't be behind it. So that is that is why TSR did things in non-repro blue. Now, you can defeat that really easily with a yellow filter, because it turns it to dark green, which looks black to a photocopier. So that is there's a little tale for you there. But I'm going to do a video where I go through the entire process, where I take it from the blank sticker paper. Well, I printed up all the stickers so far. I was freaking. The two bits of freaking I did actually were in the 90s, not all the way back in the 70s. I used to be able to whistle at 2600 hertz, which would make an analog line think a computer signal was being sent to it, and you would hear like a click to click. If you called up a BBS or somebody with a fax machine, you could whistle and make it, if you could whistle at just the right pitch. And I used to be able to do that. I don't know that I can. The other thing that I did was there's this great band. If you've never heard of this band, you absolutely need to give them a listen. But you probably have, even if you don't know it. Information Society. And they were at this weird nexus of just empty-headed pop music, industrial music, and cyberpunk culture. And the guys that were in the band were legitimate nerds. They were legitimate dorks. So they knew what they were talking about. It wasn't an affectation like when Billy's Idol did that cyberpunk album. That they have a track on their second album which leans heavily into cyberpunk culture. Pure Energy. The track is called Hard Currency. There is a burst of bell tones at the beginning of that track. I don't know if it'll work on a mobile phone. I don't recommend you do it. But if you take your phone, I think you'd have to have a line where you could open a line, hold it up, start Hard Currency. That blast of bell tones are actual phone dial tones. It will input a phone number into your phone. Now, when I tried this, cyberpunk sucked, Bob. Sorry, that's all there is to it. Billy Idol is awesome. Okay? Billy Idol was great. He did great, solid rock and roll albums. He really shouldn't have done cyberpunk. Oh, in The Wedding Singer, right? Sorry. But here's the thing. If you hold up the phone, play the opening bell tones in Hard Currency, it won't dial a number. However, the automated operator that said the number you have dialed, it will speak a phone number out to you. The number you have dialed, 1-800-555-1234, is not in service at this time. Please hang up and call again. If you manually enter that in, it will ring. At least back in the 90s, it would ring to a line. Like it would just ring over and over and over again. But that was a valid phone number. So we used to do that to try and get it to connect to somewhere. It's worked so far, but we're not out yet. Oh, and here's a bit of trivia about Information Society. So the first album, of course, is rife with Star Trek quotes. So is the second album. Adam Nimoy, Leonard Nimoy's son, was an entertainment lawyer. All he had to do was go ask Leonard. He's like, hey, this band I really like wants to, he was friends with the guys in Information Society. These friends of mine want to use samples from Star Trek. Can they? Can you make this work? And he did. Leonard Nimoy made it happen. So that's why there's all the cool Star Trek samples. And understand, this was at a time when there were federal cases about music sampling going on. There were literally bands getting like dragged into court over what constitutes a sample versus I'm just going to play 30 seconds of your song and then do a little scratch remix at the beginning and end. Oh, I don't remember what number it was, Jorge. I would have to try and bell tone it. which don't tempt me. I might try it again. But that is that's how that worked. Information Society, man. Yeah, it would be an internet. Is there any such thing as an international phone? It's like, you ever see that when it's like, oh, you can use this QR code or you can just text us, and it's like, international calling prices may apply. Text fees, blah blah blah. Like, who still does that? Hell, I remember Carrot Top's 1-800 call ATT. Just those endless ads, because I got to make a long distance call, 1-800 call ATT, and then you dial your number. Oh, Dying Breed. I tell you what, anyone want to talk about cosmic horror? And we certainly can, Ryan. We certainly can. Hack is a great album. I recommend Hack. Peace and Love Incorporated, the first 2/3 are really solid. The last third, yeah. But Peace and Love Incorporated also has some hacking on it too. The last track is 308N1 is what it's called. If you know what that means, you'll know how to get the file that is. If you know what that means, you'll know how to get the file. Who makes fun? Yeah. Yeah. Even me, my old late Gen X ass, I will text people and ask them, like, may I call you, please? It's like, growing up, I mean, you want to talk about cosmic horror, Ryan? Our phone could just ring and we would go over and pick it up, not knowing who was on the other line. We would just pick up the phone. Hello? And we would fight over who was going to pick up the phone. Wax Trax bands. Hell yes, Wax Trax bands. $5 a month for caller ID. Did you pay the like, what was it, $1.50 or $2 for the ability to star 70, so you could so you could not get knocked off when using the modem? I ought to make Jeremy come on the show. Have Jeremy as a guest for the next 30 minutes. Just like leave him no choice. Well, tell me some your prolific prank caller. Oh my gosh. Tell me some cosmic horror you want to talk about, Ryan. I'm doing a spook on the Call of Cthulhu games on Fridays. I'm having some spooky stuff going on in that I think is pretty good. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy. So I got to tell this joke real quick while I wait for you guys to ask me more D&D questions. There was a young lady that she and I knew each other, and my phone number, like, I gave her my phone number one night because I had hopes. I gave her my phone number. And I said, well, there you go. And she was like, oh, my phone number is, and she gave me my phone number back with 1 digit's difference. Like, it was 123-555 4567. She said her number was 123-555-4568. And I just looked at her and I said, if you don't want to exchange phone numbers, you don't have to, kind of like such an obvious prank. And I said it with a smile, but I was crushed. And she's like, no, that's my number. I was like, really? Because I had my own line. I lived with my parents at the time, but I had my own phone line because they kept knocking me off the damn modem when I was trying to use my Commodore and my Amiga. This is D&D question time, Bob. You guys ask me. So in doing Modern Call of Cthulhu like I do on Fridays, Modern Cthulhian horror is a little different. Not always. I think last year's could have been set in the 1920s as easily as I said it in 1970. But I also could not find the earliest time that they were using Chiaha Mountain, the highest mountain in Alabama, by the way, as the broadcast point that they do. So, but I knew it was established by at least 1970. So I said, because the adventure was titled The Lights on Chiaha Mountain. We've been going for 90 minutes, Bob. You've missed more than that. But anyway, so yeah, I just felt like it worked good in a 1970s context. There's a few affectations of this year's, which is titled, of course, You Do Not Recognize the Bodies in the Water. But I mean, the conceit is that there has to be television, there has to be tape recordings. But I feel like shoehorning the SCP thing into a Call of Cthulhu game. Now, one thing I do want to make perfectly clear, this is not leading up to the party finds out about the Foundation. I think MJ12 and Delta Green and Lovecraftian Cosmic Horrors is enough for one plate without me introducing the Foundation and trying to do an SCP horror thing layered over the top. That's like putting really tasty Chinese food on really tasty pizza. It's like they're good, but maybe not together. You paid the Ethernet bill. You had an Ethernet bill? But yeah, thinking about how is going to put You Do Not Recognize the Bodies in the Water and what Lovecraftian myth that fits together with the most, that was an interesting challenge. I'm glad you liked it, Robert, if you meant that complimentary. Odd Scimitar. Can a character move and still attack? Up to 10 feet. They can move up to 10 feet and still make a melee attack. Yeah, and of course there's the charge. You can charge something and strike it at the end of your charge. Whether you're outdoor, fighting with a lance on horseback, or what have you. Have I ever was that power over or Ethernet over electricity or network over power or whatever it was called? Oh, that's cool, St. Cuthbert. Anyway, have I ever been in a game where a player rage quit? Yes. Yeah, that's what it was, PPOE. But anyway, yes, I have been in a game where a player has rage quit. And it was so weird and it's so funny. I've told you guys the story before. It started in 1989, and Gonzalo, it involves Rollmaster, so you might want to lean in and listen. Stay a while and listen. But long story short, I had just met people who I'd end up being friends with them for decades. Still am. But Rob, you need to remember Rob's name, and you need to remember Kev's name, and you need to remember Kevin's name. Kev is not super important in this, but he's kind of an important character. Rob ran a comic book store in our neighborhood, comics, games, that sort of thing. That's where I met Rob. I really wanted to find a group to game with. So I got into their game nights. Rob's brother Kev and I hit it off. Rob could be a very bullish person. Rob's way or the highway. So I could do a Diablo reference with Alex Jones for the right super chat. So I got over to, like, they're like, Kev was like, I'm going to run a, sorry, I'm a little punchy. I'm going to run a Middle Earth game using, oh, take care, Joe. See you around. I'm going to run a Middle Earth game using Rollmaster. And you can come over to the apartment where they all lived. Well, Kev didn't live there, but Rob did. Kevin did. Another guy, Jeff, lived there. You can come over after class on Friday or whatever and make your character. So I went over there. I got out of class at noon. I got there at 1:00 and I played, or I built a character for hours. Rob had a character he knocked out like that. There was a second edition AD&D Diablo supplement. It costs a pretty penny now, but it is floating around out there. So Rob gets there, or he brings up his character, super compresses down. He killed my character with a critical strike. My character was playing a young squire. His character was playing a crusty old barbarian warrior. He didn't like something I said. He said, one more word out of you and I'll gut you. And I said, oh. And he said, I draw my sword and step toward, or I draw my axe and I step towards him. And I said, I draw my sword and I step towards him. So, bop, 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 boom. Dead character. Kev was incensed. Kev tried gamely to switch the game to Space Master. It's like, oh, okay, your characters, it was all a simulation in Space Master, and now we're Space Master, and it didn't work. It didn't work. But I was invited to other games, and I played other games. That was in 1989. Fast forward to like 1993, I think. This is the rage quit part coming up, Jeremy. I get a page when I'm at work. I call It's Rob. Haven't talked to Rob in a long time. What are you doing tonight after work? I'm not sure. Why don't you come and play? Why don't you come and game with us? Great. What are you playing? We're playing a Rollmaster game, and it's MERP. I was like, okay, sounds like fun. I don't have a character. Don't worry, we can throw something together for you. I get there, I create a character. He's a cheap knockoff of Subutai from Conan the Barbarian. My character scouts ahead in this castle. Evil Wizard captures me. Now, here's the important thing you need to know. Kev is not in. I could have written Crom faster than I could have made a character in Rollmaster. Anyway, Kevin is the game master. Kev, Rob's brother, no longer on the scene. He's gone. So Evil Wizard catches me, uses a mind control spell. Or no, it was Dust of Domination. Uses Dust of Domination. You will return to your friends and tell them you have found nothing. But if they locate my chamber and move to violence against me, you will defend me. I will defend you. You will not mention this conversation. You will not mention that you saw me. The party finds me. Did you find anything? No. Okay. We go on through the rest of the adventure. Finally, we kick down the door of the room this guy's in. Now, I've got my bow. I'm ready to act. Rob says, I step in the room. I say thee nay. Something else you need to know. They have been playing this game for 2 years. They have been playing this campaign for 2 years. Rob steps in, does his big soliloquy. I said, Kevin, I need to see you. Game master player aside. We go aside. I said, who's the biggest threat to the wizard? I didn't ask them that as a leading question because there were 2 or 3 other players there. Kevin steps back in the living room, steps back over to me in the foyer. It's Black Bardigan, Rob's character. Cool. So Rob's like, I'm going to draw my sword and walk up and slash the wizard. I had a higher, because I was playing a lightning quick thiefly character. I can't remember the rules to Rollmaster. Gonzalo will have to chime in and say, I was faster. I went first. I shot an arrow at Rob's character. I rolled an open-ended critical. And the critical was, foe is pierced through both cheeks, stunned and unable to act for 12 rounds, and then they die. I shot Rob's character with an arrow through the face. Shink, shink. Now, I can't make dice do what I want them to. You can't make dice do what you want them to. You can try and position them in your hand all you want. I think it's an E66, Telemachus, yes. Shunk. I just burst out laughing at the absurdity of it all. I was not thinking for a nanosecond of what had happened in 1989. Reading the crit was funny. Rob stands up, points at me, and yells at the top of his lungs, you did that on purpose because I killed that stupid Gondor squire of yours, and throws the pencils down. And I'm trying to tell Rob, I didn't do it on purpose. I mean, I did it on purpose, but I didn't do it on purpose. But he is livid because this is a character he had been working on for 2 long years. So, Rob. Now, this was his apartment, and to his credit, he didn't throw me out. We finished the game. Did I mention that Rob was the person who had come and picked me up from work? And Rob was my ride home, 15, 20, 23 miles home. So, yes, that was Rob's rage quit. Now, there's a denouement to it. Because fast forward again to 1999, all of us were in a casual sitting. We weren't gaming. Rob has chilled out exceptionally since then. Oh, by the way, I got an earful on the way home about how player character heroes are not to die. Oh, he bitched. Now, he held me mostly blameless. I was like, Rob, I didn't do it. I asked Kevin. So it's 1999. We're just sitting there having beers in a casual sitting. I was there with Mrs. the Dungeon Delver. A couple of other people were there. Denouement. I'm going to have to look this up. I can never remember exactly how to spell it. It is the final part of a play, movie, or narrative in which the strands of the plot are drawn together and matters are explained or resolved. Yes, Jeremy, thank you. So we're all sitting there laughing about this situation, laughing about that. And I said, I kind of concluded it and I said, and again, in my defense, I didn't do that. And there's this pause. Take care, Kabuki. Thank you for hanging out with us, dear. Have a lovely evening. There's this pause. Kevin looks up. Now, here's something you need to know about Kevin. Kevin is a Vulcan when he is sober. Kevin is a Romulan when he's drunk. Kevin had had a few beers the night of the great head piercing. Kevin had had a few beers 10 years later. So I say, and yeah, I didn't do it on purpose. There's this pause that, where all conversation comes to a stop. Kevin says, actually, Bill, and we lost it. Because it was then we knew. It was then that we knew. And he said, actually, I did it on purpose. Now, he was like, I couldn't control what the dice were going to do, but it just worked out in my favor because you came to the apartment. You spent hours making that character. You were so excited to game with us. And Rob killed your character first night. And I decided I was going to get him. A revenge story 3 + 7 years in the making. Now, Rob laughed at it, and he still laughs at it to this day, but he quit that night. He did rage quit the table that night. He stormed off, and I think he played Star Control on Genesis. There's your rage quit story. Thank you for the +2 vocab points. Wow, it's been a long time, man. Had a similar experience where a character failed to save under charm and disintegrated. Ooh, yeah, that's rough. So now we in our first or second Call of Cthulhu game. I feel like it was the first one. Tonka Todd, if you guys remember Tonka Todd, he went insane and attacked the rest of the party. And Todd was so distraught over the fact that he was just murdering the rest of the party. Or was it, I know James F. Keck was in a game where he was also straight up killing party members because thank you, Joe. Have a good evening. He was just straight up slaughtering party members, but he was insane, and he had just gone full cultist at that point. See, because remember in Call of Cthulhu, you don't have to outrun the monsters. You just have to outrun your fellow players. But anyway, so I am sorry. Yes, the one that took place on Buyavea Island. You played Call of Cthulhu once and were never invited back. Well, damn, dude. You had a player rage quit in B2? Player charmed player who bought a +1 sword and had to hand it over. Rage kick out. So wait, the person who charmed the +1 sword owner got rage kicked, or the person who bought the +1 sword got rage kicked? Rage kicking and rage quitting are two different things. That would lead to some broken little handses. I want to know why you never got invited back, Gonzalo. I got to hear that story. You've been kicked in the I have the best chat. 2 players rage quit before they even started playing on 2 different nights. Good God. Yes, he was blasting on fools with a shotgun. That's right. Medusa in B2 upset many a player. The one who bought it got kicked. He freaked. I see. Just one of those. Yeah. Maybe go do something else, Gonzalo. I mean, I think that's a shitty thing to do. I bought this +1 sword. You will give it to me. I mean, I think that's kind of crap. But I also, I mean, at that point, I'd be plotting and scheming to kill that guy and get my longsword back. Yeah, Doomsword was down in the weather station shack, reading a copy of a reprinting of the Book of Ebon. And it's something to do is fighting a zombie, and everybody else died up in the cave. God, that was a long time ago, and I have forgotten so many of the details. All right, guys. Well, we've just about come, I think, to the end of the evening. I'm sort of sputtering out of energy. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. And tomorrow night, Paul Stormberg will be here, and that's going to be a lot of fun. That was only 2 years ago. Damn. Yeah, that was only 2 years ago, wasn't it? So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Guys, join us as a YouTube member. Join us as a patron for as little as $1 a month or $2.99. as a YouTube member, and stay there until the end of the end of December, and you are in the drawing to win one of 4 replica original D&D sets. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you, Yang, if you're still out there, for popping in and telling us about, of course, the Kickstarter. Where is the URL? Well, anyway, Empire of the Undying Sun. Look it up on Kickstarter. I will, you know what? I will put the link to it. I will put it in the description. So if you're watching this post ex facto, you can do that. But remember, whatever your reason for rage quitting a TTRPG is, just be sure that it's the right reason, and don't go blaming it on the owl bear. Peace. Good night. God bless you. I'll see you around.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.